against yourself.
Greetings, mighty companions, and welcome back to the practical and healing applications of A Course in Miracles with me, Anna Kujawa-Quinn. And we're going to just take a couple of minutes and to quiet our minds and open our minds and just feel how good the holy instant and the present moment feels. Let's remember, shall we, how good the present moment really feels. Aside from the fact of how profoundly it heals, we're going to remember how good it feels to be present. So close your eyes and take a breath. And just breathe. And bring your mind out to the past. And bring your mind out to the future. And invite your mind to come back home to the present moment. The perfect, powerful, peaceful, precious, present moment. Breathe it in. And let's begin by reminding our minds that it is safe to be here right now. It is safe to be present right here, right now. Let's tell our minds, I need do nothing. Right now, I need do nothing. And breathe it in. Feel the release. Feel the peace from remembering that you need do nothing. For all has already been accomplished. All has already been healed. There's nothing left to be done to experience complete fulfillment. Let us practice accepting the truth for ourselves right now. Reminding yourself, I remain exactly as love created me. I need do nothing but accept the truth for myself now. And breathe and let it go. Let everything that's not happening right now go. Reminding yourself that all that you need for peace and prosperity is here right now, within you, within yourself. Simply awaiting you to be. Remember what the present moment feels like. Remember what it feels like to just be. as you are becoming present to the present moment, see if you can detect the presence that abides in the present. Your higher self, your true self, your spirit self. Feel for it. Open your heart and your mind to it. And let it speak to you. Just take a breath, remembering that you can return to this oasis within, this holy relationship within, at any time, at any place, for free. And to that we say, amen. And when you're ready, just open your eyes and come on back. Welcome back to now. All right. Hi, Irene. And hi, Tricia. Lovely to see you both. And welcome, you guys. Thanks for coming out to the Miracle Center. It's always a miracle when people come out to the Miracle Center when you know they could be at home watching. So thank you. I truly appreciate that. Truly appreciate that. Okay. All right. So, where we're at today is in chapter 23. And I love the title, the original title of this section, The Escape from Conflict. It sounds like an adventure movie. The Escape from Conflict. Will they do it? Will they escape or not? You better tune in, find out.
Two prisoners.
Two prisoners escaped conflict.
From hell.
All right.
23 what?
Okay, 23, section 1. And if you have the blue covered edition, then it's just the introduction to chapter 23. And if you have the original dictation in whatever form you have, then the name of the intro is Walk You in Glory. Walk You in Glory, with your head held high. Instead of what we do, like this, with our head hung low in shame. All right, okay. So the original title is Walk You in Glory.
Yeah.
With your head held high, and not your head hung in shame, as if you have something to be ashamed of.
Tits up.
Tits up. All right. That's a reference from the marvelous Miss Maisel. So.
Well, which one is Escape from Conflict?
That's the name of the chapter.
Oh, I'm in the lesson. That's why it's not adding up.
Oh, yeah. And nice to have you here on a Monday evening, my dear.
Nice to be here,
Paul.
Just
both of you girls. Amazing.
Plus, she's from the original edition.
Yes, but for you, it's chapter 23 in the intro.
Yeah.
Okay?
Just...
And Tricia says, hello, my loving family. So,
hey, Trish.
Hey, Trish.
Hey, Trisha.
And hi, Irene. All right. So here we go. It says the first sentence is a question. So it's going to ask us a question. Spirit teaches a lot through questions.
And they're always common sense questions.
And they're
practical.
always rhetorical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know.
Yes, and they're always common sense. Okay. Like for instance, don't you see that the opposite of frailty and weakness is sinlessness? No. Is that a trick joke question, Spirit? No, I don't. It's a rhetorical question. Do you not see the opposite of frailty and weakness is sinlessness? So, if you've been experiencing any weakness or frailty today, what this is telling us is that the opposite of feeling weak and frail is the awareness of your own sinlessness. The opposite of weakness and frailty is sinlessness. So if I'm feeling weak or if I'm feeling frail, then that means I am not aware of my own sinlessness. I haven't accepted the fact that I am sinless. Sinless, meaning no sin, no guilt, nothing to feel ashamed of. Okay? So, good to know, good to know. And what we're saying is the reason that is because innocence is strength. Sinlessness is strength. When you are accepting the fact of your innocence, your sinlessness, you will feel strong. You won't feel weak. You won't feel frail. You will feel strong when you have accepted the fact of your sinlessness or your innocence. All right. So anybody today experiencing frailty and weakness? That's exactly what I've been experiencing. That's it. Literally, when I saw that, I had to laugh. I was like, Spirit, you know me. You really know me, and you know exactly how to answer me. Thank you very much. Because that's exactly what I had been feeling. Now, it says, so innocence or sinlessness is strength and nothing else. Nothing else is strong. There's nothing else that's going to give you a feeling of strength. Nothing else will give you a feeling of strength. Not all the money, fame, and physical pleasure and power that you could experience in the world, not all of it can give you a feeling of being strong, really strong. Nothing, not power, fame, money, physical pleasure, all of it in the world can make you feel strong. Nothing besides aware of the fact of your sinlessness. Despite the fact that you don't, even when you don't believe it, that the only thing that will give you that feeling, I am strong. I'm not weak and frail, I'm strong. Okay? The only thing that can give you that is the awareness and acceptance of your own sinlessness. Dang. Okay. The sinless cannot fear. So when you've accepted the fact of your sinlessness, you're not going to be afraid of anything. And fear of any kind is weakness. So, wow, that's interesting. It's a great definition of fear. What is fear? Weakness. When you're afraid, what do you have? Weakness. What do you feel when you're afraid? You feel weak. You can't be afraid and feel strong. Can't be afraid and feel strong. Fear is a weakness. And the only thing that brings about real strength is the awareness of your sinlessness. Now, the show of strength that attack would use to cover frailty does not conceal frailty. So when you're like, I'm a badass, that show of strength that attack always uses. What is attack? Attack always covers its own frailty with a show of strength. So attack is a cover to cover the frailty and the weakness that comes from attack, or that attack comes from. Because how can the unreal be hidden? See, no one is strong who has an enemy. And no one can attack unless they think they have an enemy. Oh, so when is it that we attack? What must be going on if we're attacking? Attacking with guilt, attacking with whatever. You don't attack unless you think that you have an enemy. Those two things go together. Let's see. When I was attacking today, I was attacking because I believed I had an enemy. Okay? It says no no one is strong who has an enemy, and no one can attack unless they think they have an enemy. Belief in enemies is therefore the belief in weakness. And what is weak is not the will of God. Interesting. So to believe that you have an enemy of some kind is what? That is the belief in weakness. We're like, I've got enemies, I'm strong, okay? And I attack because I'm strong. No, you only attack when you feel weak, and if you can't feel strong and have an enemy. What does it say about that? It says, no one is strong who has an enemy. And being opposed to it, the will of God, then weakness is the will of God's so-called enemy. And when you are weak, when you are opposing the will of God, then God is feared as an opposing will. When you are opposing the will of God, feeling weak, believing you have an enemy and attacking, then you're going to fear God's will. When you're opposing God's will, you're going to fear God's will. If you're attacking God, you're going to fear God. So, well, how strange indeed becomes this war against yourself! Exclamation point. So the war against myself is what? I believe I have an enemy, and so I feel weak, and so now I attack to cover up my feeling of weakness. Okay? That is a war against ourself. That's the war we're waging. I have an enemy. I feel weak. I have an enemy. I'm going to attack to cover up my frailty. Okay? That's a war against ourselves. That's not a war that somebody put on us. That's a war that we are waging against ourselves. Did you know that you were waging a war against yourself? Wow. Just make it up that I have an enemy, and then attack as if I do, and make myself feel weaker, and then so I attack some more, thinking that makes me strong, which makes me feel even weaker. That's the war. He says, how strange indeed becomes this war against yourself. And you will believe that everything you use for guilt, for sin, can hurt you, which means become your enemy. I love that sentence. So whatever you are using for sin, whatever you're using for guilt, whatever you're using for attack, whatever you're using for guilt, you're gonna believe that it can hurt you. Whatever you're using for guilt. What are you using for guilt? Are you using your body for guilt? Are you using your relationships for guilt? Are you using your planet for guilt? Are you using your money for guilt? Whatever it is you're using for guilt, to feel guilty about, to attack over, that is what you are gonna believe can hurt you and can become your enemy. It's like I'm making up an enemy for myself. Whatever I use for guilt, whatever I use for guilt, whatever I use for attack is something that I am turning into an enemy. That's what I'm going to believe can hurt me. So really, the truth is that nothing can hurt you, a child of God. No one can hurt you. Nothing can hurt you. But whatever you're using for hurt, whatever you're using for sin and guilt, you're going to believe can hurt you. So whatever it is I believe can hurt me right now, that's what I want to stop using for guilt. Stop using it for sin. Whatever it is I think can hurt me. What does I think can hurt me? The economy. I think the economy can hurt me. I think the politicians can hurt me. I think the climate change can hurt me. Right? I think money can hurt me. I think my relationships can hurt me. Basically everything. Basically, I think everything can hurt me, right? And that's why I'm always in fear. Okay? And so, but if I want to stop being afraid of something hurting me, because I'm tired of that feeling, then I need to stop using it for guilt. I need to stop using it for attack. I need to stop using it as a justification for attack. Stop using it as a justification for attack for projecting guilt, and then it will not be, you won't worry about it hurting you. It can't hurt you. Okay, good to know. And it says, and then whatever you're using for sin and guilt, you're going to fight against that. And you're going to try to weaken it because you think it can hurt you. Okay, good. What is it that I believe can hurt me right now? What is it I am perceiving as hurting me right now? What is it I believe can hurt me? What is it I'm afraid of hurting me? Is it my relationship? Is it this health condition? Is it money? What is it that I am that I feel is hurting me right now, or I'm afraid might hurt me, or I think could hurt me? That's what I need to start using for forgiveness, not using it as a justification to attack or a justification to feel guilty. Okay? Good to know. And it says, and you will think that you have succeeded in weakening what you think can hurt you, what you've been using for attack. You will think that you've succeeded in weakening it, and then you will attack again. And that's because it is as certain that you will fear what you attack as it is sure that you will love what you perceive as sinless. I'll say that again. It is certain that you will fear what you attack as it is sure that you will love what you see as sinless. So what is it that you fear right now? What is it that you are fearing? Okay. Whatever you are fearing, it says, it is as certain you will fear what you attack. Whatever you're fearing, whatever you're attacking, whatever you're fearing is what you have attacked. Oh, so I'm fearing what our governments are doing in terms of taking us to war. I'm afraid of that. Okay. Oh, okay. You're fearing that? Okay, that's because you're attacking that. I'm attacking that. I have been attacking that. So I didn't realize that my fear of that was coming from my attack of that. I'm like, well, no, that's fearful. They're endangering us, right? They're endangering us. And they're using up all of our tax money, right? But what this is saying is that you will fear what you attack. So if I stop attacking that person, if I stop attacking that relationship, if I stop attacking the world, then I will not fear it. I will not fear it. Isn't that deep? That I'm fearing it only because I've been attacking it. And if I want to stop fearing it and living in fear like I do, then I want to stop attacking it, which is the same as saying using it as a justification for anger or for attack or for guilt. Okay? All right, good to know. So what is it? What is it that you fear right now? Okay? That's the thing that you want to stop attacking. And what does that mean to stop attacking? It means stop using it for guilt. Stop using it for guilt. Stop using it to feel guilty yourself, and stop using it to give them guilt, to project guilt onto them. Okay, great. Now, then it says, and then it also, you will love whatever you see as sinless. So if I'm not going to be using something for guilt, and I'm not going to be using something for sin, then what should I be doing with it? Well, you should be trying to see it as sinless. Okay? My goal is to see this as sinless. And the Course says you don't have to know how to see something sinless. All you have to do is say, I'm willing. I want to. So, I want to see this as sinless. I don't know how to do that, but Spirit, I am willing to see this. I'm willing to see this as sinless. Show me how. Okay? Yes?
So, can you use this? I think a lot of people are in this position right now with the economy.
Mm-hmm.
How am I attacking the lack of finances coming in, or my abundance and wealth?
Okay.
How can I make that a sinless proposition?
Yes.
So I'm just trying.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So so the question is, how do you apply this relative to money and finances? Okay. Well, one thing, if you're not going to use it for sin and guilt, is you're not going to use it to see yourself as guilty or a failure. Okay, that's one. Another one is don't blame it on someone or something else. Okay, those are two examples of how not to attack the financial problem as you see it. How not to use it for sin. Don't look at it and go, "What? I'm such a failure. What's wrong with me?" Or those crazy politicians, or my business partner, or my blah 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 blah. If they hadn't done da da da, I'd be abundant right now. So those are two examples of how not to use it for sin and guilt. And then how do you perceive it as sinless? You ask. You express your willingness to see it. Course in Miracles says you don't have to know how to see your brothers and sisters as sinless. All you have to do is want to. And then the great corrector of perception, your higher self, will do it for you. Will show you.
Awesome.
Okay? Great question.
Plus, there's the idea that there is no loss, but only gain.
Yes. Beautiful.
And it's all has to do with our perception of it and trusting.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it will be comfortable.
Beautiful. So another way of not using the financial issue for sin and guilt is to remember the truth. There is no loss but only gain. God has given me everything. Beautiful. How about you?
In this economy, as you were talking about, it's so tempting to give guilt in the way of, man, did you see the gas prices? I was just at the gas pump.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
did you see, I walked out with 2 bags of groceries. You know how much it was? It's just a constant condemnation
Yes.
onto the tapestry of the world.
Onto the, yes.
And then I just realized that because I do it.
Me too.
And so, and then it comes back.
That's right. And then it's right. And then gas prices go up some more. Right. So another way of not using a financial issue problem for sin and guilt is, not to condemn and complain.
The situation.
Yeah, not to condemn and blame the situation. Not to condemn or complain about the situation. And to remember the truth.
How's your phone battery?
Oh, very good, thank you. It's not good enough to leave the thing out. Thank you. Very mucho. And Bridget says, I am worthy of wealth. Yes, you are. Wonderful. Okay.
Abundance, that's what I would say, abundance.
Yes, abundance, exactly. And, abundance where you feel like you have enough. Where you're not afraid. So if I'm feeling financially afraid, according to this, that means that I have been attacking financially. You will fear whatever you attack. So if I'm afraid financially, I've been attacking. And, what's one of the ways that we attack financially? When we see somebody who has more financially, we go, well, they must, what did they do for that money, or whatever. We compare ourselves with them, which is an attack, or we don't see them as deserving of it. We go, well, he must have done something immoral to get that kind of money, or whatever. But that's another way that we would be attacking financially and then become afraid of money. If we're using money for sin, guilt, aka comparison or whatever, judgment, now we're going to be afraid of money. And so when you're afraid of money, what do you do relative to money? You sabotage. You sabotage relative to money. When you're afraid of money, you do everything that makes money go away. Oh, so many things to do to make money go away. Okay, so, but I love where we're going with this.
Yeah, so what I'm, in the first paragraph, in the edited edition, I was thinking this was going in one direction. And then it switched to a different direction in the second paragraph. And now I'm finally seeing that they're really one and the same, because, and that is that at a level that I'm not aware of, that fourth obstacle, the fear of God, or third, whatever the obstacle, fear of God is, what he's really talking about here. That first paragraph, he's talking, I don't necessarily perceive enemies in the sense of another person or but I'm afraid of the truth. I can be at a very fundamental level. I'm afraid of the truth, and I will get irritated, angry, whatever, and nobody even has to be around. It can just be because shit isn't working right for me in the moment, and I'm starting to realize that that's just my ego getting afraid of the truth, the love, the light coming into my awareness. And then so there's that what I'm going to call unconscious level of fear of the truth, fear of love, fear of God, that I constantly play out on a day-to-day basis, whether it's finances, somebody cutting me off in traffic, special relationship of some kind, enemies that I can attack in the physical world. And it's really all the same thing of being in war against myself.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Belief in enemies is therefore the belief in weakness. You know. And I said, no one is strong who has an enemy, and no one can attack unless they think they have an enemy. So we must have all kinds of perception of enemies, because we are perceiving an enemy every time we attack. You do not attack without perceiving or believing that you have an enemy.
It's a traffic.
Dang, we believe we have a lot of enemies.
It's a traffic revolution.
Yes.
Have you noticed? It's like everyone's revolting in their car.
Yes, I love it. As Cheryl Thomas says, nothing to fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Exactly. And one must trust and have honesty with our judgment. Amen to that. Wow. Okay. So, and that's all part of our war. The war against ourselves is I'm weak because I'm guilty. And because I'm weak, because of my sinfulness that I learned, now everything is my enemy. If you feel weak, then everything is your enemy. You know, so if you feel weak, everybody's going to pay the price. When you feel weak, everybody around you is going to pay the price, because you can't feel weak and not perceive everything as out to get you. You know, whether it's the climate or bugs or disease or, you know, whatever. And you can't have a belief in guilt within yourself and not feel weak. Just, you know, so it starts with a belief in guilt that we learned, which makes us feel weak and frail, which makes us feel vulnerable. Now everybody becomes an enemy to be defended, to protect yourself against. And so now you're at war against everyone and everything. That's the war against yourself. That all stems from the core belief that you are sinful. And we all learned it, regardless of whatever religion you came up through or did not come up through. We all learned it here on planet guilt. That was our ticket in. Guilt? Yeah, I'm guilty. All right, come on in. Come on through the birth canal. Right on. Come on down. Welcome to hell. Okay. So that's the cost of the belief in sin. And as long as you got fear And as long as you feel weak, and as long as you believe you have enemies, you know you have belief. You have the belief that you are guilty. So if you got any of those things, fear, weakness, vulnerability, a perception of enemies, a world that seems to be attacking you, then you have a belief in sin. You believe you are sinful instead of sinless. And that's true about all of us. That, like I said, that was the ticket in here. You know, do you believe you're guilty? Yes, I do. All right, come on in. Smack on the bottom.
Any difference that I think I'm seeing is sinful or not true, is an attack.
That's right. That's exactly right. And you cannot believe that you are sinful or guilty and not believe that you need to attack the enemies outside of you to be safe. And so the only way to be safe and to feel truly strong is to accept the fact of your sinlessness. There's no other way to feel safe in this world or anywhere. There is no other safety. There's no other strength. That's it. Is to accept that you are sinless and guiltless forever. No exceptions, no conditions, because that's how you were created. End of story. No, and when you have accepted the fact of your sinlessness, because that's how you were created, then the whole dream of attack, the whole dream of enemies, a world out there to get you, ends. That dream ends. You wake up from that dream, and it is just a dream. It's a dream where you can have enemies, and not just a enemy, not just a few enemies, but a whole world of enemies. You know, so many enemies that you got to have a standing military that's armed to the teeth all the time and ready, and all your resources go to that military. That dream, okay? That dream, it ends. You wake up from it when you accept, I am as God created me, which is sinless, no matter what I think about myself, no matter what I think about myself. That's the truth. Because that's the way I was created. And then you wake up from that dream. Now, whether you stay in your body or not, well, I don't know. You know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. You know, but you do wake up from the dream of a world full of enemies poised to attack you. And that sounds good to me. So now I know what I need to do to heal or cure that feeling of weakness and frailty that I've been feeling. Now I know what to do. Now I know what to focus on so that I can feel strong and safe again. And it's not put more locks on my door. It is practice. I am the guiltless child of God himself. I am the guiltless child of God himself. I am sinless. I am guiltless. There is no sin. Let me remember there is no sin. Let me remember there is no sin. I am as guiltless and sinless as I was created by God. Okay? And repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and practice and practice and repeat it. Okay? Beautiful. And Cheryl says, shift in perception is needed. Yes. Okay, beautiful. Thanks for all your sharing. Jerry! Okay, now we can begin class. Now we can begin class because Jerry's here.
Now the real shift happens.
Exactly. Now the real shift happens.
Don't forget to raise your hand,
All right, now we can get this party started, Jerry.
So
Now we can talk about sin.
Exactly.
is that a sentence here? I am as guiltless as... I am as guiltless, what you were just repeating.
Oh, that was just me riffing.
Oh.
That was just me channeling what
Okay.
I need to do.
I am a guiltless child of God. I am a
I am-
sinless child of God.
Yeah, girl, say it.
I am as guiltless and sinless as created by God.
Wow, very good.
No, you said it. I'm just reading what I wrote.
I love it. I just saw you singing that, by the way. So I just have to say that, and I have chills going through my body.
Oh, thank you.
So just want to say that. Okay. Okay, great. So we could be doing the war against ourselves some more, or we could do something else. And it's about to tell us the alternative. Anybody game for an alternative?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Here's what you could be doing instead of living in total fear all the time of all the enemies out there trying to get you. Okay? What you could be doing is you could walk in glory with your head held high, and you could fear no evil.
There's a song title.
How about, there's a song title. You could be walking in glory with your head held high and fearing no evil, no enemies. You mean that's a thing? You could do that as a thing? Apparently so. And the reason you can do that is because the innocent, the sinless, are safe. And the innocent are safe because they share their innocence. You are safe because you share your innocence. You share your sinlessness.
You give it.
You give it. You don't project that fear and guilt and sin. You share your innocence. You remind people, you're innocent. You're not guilty, you're innocent. You deserve only love. You're innocent. The innocent are safe because they share their innocence. They share their sinlessness. So how do you be safe in this crazy place? You share your innocence. You don't project guilt and sin. You don't attack, attack is projecting your own belief in sin and guilt. Don't project that. And that's how you stay safe. Okay? The sinless are safe because they share their sinlessness instead of projecting their belief in sin. And those who have accepted the fact of their sinlessness, because God established it, nothing they see is harmful, because their awareness of the truth, sinlessness, releases everything from the illusion of harmfulness. My awareness of my innocence, my awareness of my sinlessness releases everything from the illusion of harmfulness. Dang, that sounds like a superhero power. I release everything from the illusion of harmfulness. That's my superhero power. But that we all have that we all have that superhero power, and it's called your innocence, your sinlessness, where I am guiltless even if I think I'm guilty. You know, even if I'm feeling guilty, I accept my guiltlessness because God created that. God created me guiltless. God created me sinless. And then my awareness of my sinlessness releases everything from the illusion of harmfulness. There's a lot of things here in this world that I would like to release from the illusion of harmfulness. Like, for instance, World War. How about that? I'd love to release that from the illusion of harmfulness. How about that? How about nuclear war? How about disease?
How about Israeli today?
Yeah, how about, World War III is trying to happen. The ego is just having a wet dream right now. The ego's just like, yeah. Right?
But the ego's also scared shitless right now.
But the ego, remember, what's under the show of strength that an attack would use to cover its frailty. So when the ego is attacking, like it is right now on steroids, when does the ego attack like that? To cover when it feels frail and weak. So why is the ego trying to get the whole world at war? Because the ego feels real weak and frail right now. In other words, we must have been coming very close to unifying. All of us, all of humanity must have been coming closer and closer and closer to unifying. We don't want war, we want peace. We must have been getting real close to all of us agreeing we want peace. But the ego's like, oh crap, we gotta get not just any war, we gotta get World War III happening fast. Where, Israel and the Middle East is at war, and we're at war with China, and we're at war, the whole World War III. because the ego must be feeling extremely weak and frail right now. That's what's really going on. Now, if we are willing to be aware of the truth of our sinlessness, then we release everything from the illusion of harmfulness, including the whole war going down. Okay, well that sounds helpful. How about that? Would you feel good about yourself if you were like, well, you know, on Monday I helped to avert World War III? Would you feel good about yourself? Would you feel like you had done good? Would your self-esteem be pumped up? You know, would you feel good about yourself? If you were like, well, on Monday night I helped to avert World War III. You feel pretty good about yourself.
We're never
That'd be a real booster for your low self-esteem.
Walk in glory.
Walk in glory. Walk in glory with your head held high and fear no evil, because you are guiltless, because you are innocent, and you share your innocence, you share your guiltlessness, and that completely neutralizes the harmfulness of whatever you're looking at. I love the Course in Miracles, I really do. I wish I loved it more. Okay, so it says, and what seemed harmful now stands shining in our innocence. Now it's been released now from sin and fear, and that thing that seemed harmful before has been happily returned to love. That's what happens when we accept the awareness of the truth of our sinlessness. Then whatever it was that seemed harmless is released from sin and fear and happily returned to love. It's like a superhero power. Okay? That's what your awareness and your acceptance of your sinlessness does to that which seemed harmful around you. Anywhere in the world. Thank you, God. And the innocent, those who accept their sinlessness, they share the strength of love because they looked on innocence. When you look on innocence, you're sharing the strength of love. When you look on innocence, you're sharing the strength of love. When you share your innocence, you are sharing the strength of love. And not only that, it's like the Ginsu of Miracles, not only that, when you accept the fact of your sinlessness, every error disappears because you didn't see that error. When you don't see the error, because you're just looking at innocence, you're just sharing, I'm guiltless, you're guiltless. I'm sinless, that means you're sinless too, because we're created by the same Creator. And when you share your sinlessness, then every error disappears because you didn't see it. When you share your innocence, you're not looking at errors. You're not looking at errors. You're looking at the same innocence and sinlessness that you are and that you have. Every error disappears because you didn't see it. Dang. So if I'm seeing an error, that's because I wanted to see it. Because I didn't want to see my sinlessness. I wanted to see that error. That's why I'm seeing it. If every error disappears because you were looking at sinlessness, that means every error you're seeing that's still there is what you wanted. That's the sin and guilt you wanted to see. In other words, whoever looks for glory finds it where glory is. And where could glory be but in the innocent? In innocence. That's what glory is. Who looks for glory finds it, and they find it where it is. And where is it? It's in the innocence. It's in the sinlessness that you are seeing, because that's what you're sharing. Wow.
Once again, completely the opposite of the ego's idea of what glory is. Glory goes to the victor, for example.
Exactly. Once again, the terms are they mean exactly the opposite of in the world, as in glory, which usually means victory. The glory is mine. The victory is mine. This glory is radiance, the radiance that you see when you share your innocence, your sinlessness. I love it. Walk you in glory with your head held high. Beautiful. And fear no evil. Okay, beautiful. Any questions or comments? Man, I really needed to hear this. Really, really needed to hear this today. Big time.
It's really challenging to not want to judge attacks. You know, the political arena, like listening to everybody attacking each other and, you know, countries bombing each other.
Yes.
Us not trying to defend one or the other. Like I'm having a hard time with that.
Yes.
You know, I think that Russia is not, I mean, it's hard for me to see them as sinless right now.
Yeah, it's challenging for me. I have not wanted to see the sinlessness of those who are warmongers, who are trying to get war, who think that war would be great. You know, apparently there's a lot of folks right now, usually not the citizens. It's not the citizens that want war, it's somebody else, you know. But it's difficult to not judge.
Ammunition factories,
Right.
it's companies that can make money on the process.
That's exactly right. It's the people who benefit from the war machine,
Yeah.
right? And so I hear you saying it's difficult not to judge them. Absolutely. And the truth is that, you know, in all of them and in everyone is the innocence and the sinlessness. Even the warmongers, their truth is that they were created innocent and guiltless and sinless, as we were. And if they were created as we were, innocent, sinless, and guiltless, that means that it's there for me to see if I want to see it. And so what I want to say about the folks who think that war is a great idea and are making it happen is that they have a call. They have a call for the innocence that they have denied in themselves. They are calling for the sinlessness that they have denied in themselves. You know, their war efforts is a call for the sinlessness that they have denied in themselves. That's me looking for innocence, you know. And remember, what is it that keeps me safe, even if there's warmongers all around me? What keeps me safe is my awareness of my own sinlessness and guiltlessness, regardless of what they're doing, regardless of what they think they want, what they think will make them safe. What keeps me safe is the awareness of my sinlessness and that I share that. That's what I promote. That's what I see. That's what I'm looking for. And you know, that's what keeps me safe. No matter what they're doing in their war against themselves. You know, they're just doing their own war against themselves, not realizing that they are hurting themselves. They don't, you know, they're not realizing that by creating war for the world that they're hurting their own selves and their own children.
Can we strangle him first, that scene?
Oh, Jerry. Jerry wants to know if we can strangle them first. And then forgive them. Well, Jerry, I think we've all tried that before.
Yeah.
And we see where we're still at. So, but great question. Funny question.
And I just wanted to comment that what you just said, though, about accepting my own innocence and being willing to share it is really just the same thing as the one task for the teacher of God is to accept the atonement for himself. It really means the same thing.
Exactly. The one responsibility of the miracle worker is to accept the truth or the sinlessness for themselves. Right. And, you know, because it doesn't say here until you get rid of all the warmongers, you know, you'll never have peace. It says your safety comes from your awareness and acceptance of your own sinlessness, and that's what you share. You know, and so we're going to have to go with that. You know, that's what keeps us safe, and as we share that, that's what helps others to be safe too, even on a battlefield. And the Course in Miracles calls this place a battlefield, a battleground. Remember that? And it says, how do you experience safety on a battlefield? You know, and it's where you take your awareness above the battlefield. It didn't say get off the battlefield and get into a bunker underground and hope you have enough provisions. It says to look on the battlefield from a higher perspective, from a higher awareness. And that higher awareness is the awareness of your own sinlessness and your own innocence that you were created in. Okay? That's how you be safe even when you're on a battlefield. Thank you for that. Holy cow. You know, that's what A Course in Miracles is. How to experience safety on a battlefield. How to experience safety and joy and abundance and a lot of fun on a battlefield. Like, that's Earth. Battlefield Earth. Okay. Oh boy, I really, really needed to hear this today. Oh my goodness. Okay. Because I was like watching the stuff on all the you know, everybody's talking about World War III, the whole world engaging, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, what, Spirit, what do you want me to think about this? What is your will for me in all this? It's just so insane. It's just so insane.
We can't understand.
Yeah, exactly. You can't understand insanity, but this just gave the perfect term for it. Our war against ourselves. It's the perfect term for what's going on. What you're looking at, Anna, is the war against yourselves. That's what you're looking at. This is the war against yourselves. In the war against yourselves, you feel weak because of the belief in sin, and you see everybody as your enemy, and you attack them thinking that that's going to make you safe and strong. That's how it goes in the war against yourself. And that's what we're all doing, all of us. But we are hearing the answer. We are hearing the solution. We are hearing how to be safe, even in the midst of this mass psychosis. This mass war against ourselves, where we're all at war against ourselves. And we're hearing how to be safe and how to help others to be safe as well. And not only to be safe, but how to make the error disappear. Well, dang. Not just be safe, but how to make the error called war, called enemies, disappear. Wow, that's something. And how do you do that? Because we make the error of called war and sin disappear because we are not looking at it. We don't see it. Because we're looking at the sinlessness and the innocence everywhere. Okay. Beautiful. So, given all that, everybody take a breath. Love it. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, I love that. Cheryl says, to create war between man is to sin, which means to miss the mark. Exactly. That's the Hebrew definition of sin, is miss the mark. Paragraph 4. So, don't let the little nuisances and interferers pull you toward littleness. Now, in the blue covered edition, does it say nuisances or just interferers?
It just says, let not the little interferers pull you to littleness.
Okay. In the original dictation, it says, let not the little nuisances and interferers pull you to littleness.
That's more personally relevant.
Isn't it? The nuisances, the little nuisances pull you toward littleness, okay? And what is the littleness? The littleness is I feel frail and I feel weak. So don't let the little nuisances and interferers pull you toward the littleness and the feeling frail and weak. Why? Because there can be no attraction of guilt in innocence. So when you're aware of your sinlessness, you're not going to be attracted to guilt. You know, I'm attracted to guilt because I'm not aware of my sinlessness. So here's something that we can do. Think what a happy world we walk with truth beside us! Exclamation point. Okay? Now I'm going to say another word for truth. Think what a happy and safe world you walk with the truth of your innocence beside you. Okay? With the awareness of my sinlessness beside me, I walk a happy and safe world. Okay?
Sounds like something Mr. Rogers was saying.
Oh.
Come on, boys and girls, there's no ego here.
Oh, boys and girls, walk you in glory with your head held high and fear no evil. Think what a happy world we walk with the truth of our guiltlessness beside us. Okay, so that was an instruction, by the way. We're supposed to think about that. Like, you know, you can walk a happy and safe world not when all the wars stop, but when you are choosing to walk with awareness of your sinlessness and your innocence. That is when you walk a happy and safe world. Okay. This is so timely. And that was an instruction. Here's another instruction. Do not give up this world of freedom for a little sigh of seeming sin. Don't give up this world of freedom and happy and safe world just because a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction. Would you, for all these little and meaningless distractions, lay heaven aside? Your destiny and purpose are far beyond these meaningless distractions. And your destiny is in the clean peace where littleness does not exist. Now, in the blue-covered edition, does it say place or peace?
Place.
Mm-hmm. In the original edition, it says, your destiny and purpose are far beyond these meaningless distractions in the clean peace where littleness does not exist.
Interesting.
It's interesting. Little words. Yeah. But I like that. I like place also. No. It says, your purpose is at variance with littleness of any kind. And so your purpose is at variance with sin. Okay, so I just wanted to talk about the meaningless distractions, the nuisances, and the tiny little interferers that we're willing to give up the world of heaven for. Okay, so I just want to hear what you're saying, Course in Miracles, just to get clear. You're saying that I have been willing to give up the world of freedom and a happy and safe world just so I can have a little sigh of seeming sin or a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction. Just want to make sure that I hear what you're saying, Course in Miracles. I'm willing to give up an entire world where I feel free and I feel safe and I feel abundant and it's beautiful, and I'm willing to give all that up for a tiny stirring of guilt attraction. That's what I'm doing. Wow. Okay, well, take a breath on that one. I am willing to give up heaven, a world of freedom, a happy world where I feel safe and abundant, just to have a little sigh of seeming sin or a tiny stirring of guilt attraction.
Wow.
Dang.
Could you say fear's attraction?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. But in this case, it wants us to know that the problem is our belief in sin. You know, that the belief in sin is the problem, and the answer is the acceptance of the fact of our sinlessness. You know, and from this, I would say that fear comes from the belief in sin. You know, the one illusion, the core problem is sin. The one answer to that problem that takes a million forms is the acceptance of our sinlessness. You know, and that as we accept that, then all of our fears and errors disappear.
And I just want to remind, because this may add another dimension to it. Remember that the course early on defines sin as a lack of love.
Yes, exactly.
And so my belief that I can be unloving,
yes,
that I can act and be and say unloving things, is what we're being asked to let go of.
Yes.
And remember the truth that we are each and all loved, loving, and lovable.
Yes.
Forever. That's the way we were created.
This is how a man must think of themselves in their heart, as loving and lovable. You know? So, what did you say? Sin is the lack of love. Sin is the lack of love. That's what the Course says. Exactly. So, okay. So, if I'm giving up an entire world of freedom, a happy and safe world where I feel safe and happy, for a little sigh of seeming sin or a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction, then all I have to do to experience a world of freedom is don't let the little sigh of seeming sin or tiny stirring of guilt's attraction pull you toward littleness. Don't let the belief in sin and guilt pull you to weakness. Don't let your belief in sin and guilt pull you to weakness. Say no to those nuisances and interferers. Say no. Just say no. Don't let them pull you into weakness. Don't let your belief in guilt pull you into weakness. Don't let it. Just say no. Because if you can say no to it, realizing that's just a little interferer, that's just a little nuisance. Get away from me. You little mosquito of guilt. Get away from me. Right. Because if you can say no to it, then you won't see a world of enemies everywhere you look, and you will feel safe, and you'll be able to walk the world with your, in glory with your head held high. Feeling safe in this glorious, beautiful, radiant world where everyone's your friend. It's so little. It's so little. It's so little in order to experience the world of freedom, the happy and safe world. It's so little. The ticket in is so little. Just say no to the little nuisances and interferers, the little sigh of seeming sin or a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction. Whew.
I know, I'm spinning this is a big thing. So, little nuisances. So, World War III, biblical prophecy,
Yes.
the biblical prophecy of the third world starting in the Middle East. Christ is coming again. You know that this Christian right is just going to be going crazy on this shit.
They are, right?
And I haven't watched any news about it because I can't. But I don't remember what it says in the Bible. Do you?
I strangely, weirdly today watched this video that came across where some guy, David Jeremiah, was doing a talk on what it is that the Bible says about what's going to happen in Jerusalem, in Israel, when the apocalypse and the what all that it talks about in Revelation. Weirdly, it came through my thing. I watched it because I wanted to know what it was that the Christian right believes about, and they do believe that Jesus is going to come back and is the Antichrist is coming and is getting the entire world at war, and then Jesus is going to return and then smite make all the armies disappear and then bring peace on earth.
I think it's going to be aired on pay-per-view. You can.
I sure hope they're going to make a sequel. But really, I was listening to it. I was like, that is what they believe. Wow, that's really deep.
I
you
could
know?
go home and read
That's
the-
really like it
the
sounds
chapter
like
in
a
the
plot
Bible.
of a movie.
My aunt
You know?
is all into that.
Yeah, but
Get
it's really
ready,
deep
get
because
I grew up with that. I mean, you know, you wait till
I
Jesus
know.
is coming. I don't
Absolutely.
remember because I
So,
blocked so much of it out.
It makes me wonder what they're going to do when that doesn't happen. Are they going to reject Christ like the Jews rejected Christ because he wasn't the Messiah warrior that they wanted him to be?
good chance of it. Good chance of it. But there's a problem with wanting that to happen. You know, you can see how there's a part of our mass consciousness that is calling in this world war as hosted by the Antichrist, because they believe that that's how the time of peace comes. And so you can see how they're unconsciously calling that into being. You know, what is it? A self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah.
But
so, anyway.
it makes me recognize how important my part is in having the Christ awareness within me,
Yes.
to be able to share it in
Yes.
others, and to
Yes.
see it in others and to see it in myself.
Amen to that.
That's
And you know, even though, like you were saying, I loved it. It made me laugh because this is calling all that little nuisances and interferers, a little seeming sin, a tiny stirring of guilt distraction. And you're like, that's like an attraction to World War III that's going down. That doesn't seem like
Doesn't
a
seem
little
like a
nuisance
nuisance.
and a little interferer and a tiny stirring of guilt attraction. That seems a lot bigger than a little nuisance.
Yeah, but
Right.
remember, there's no order of difficulty in miracles.
And thank you. There's
Right.
no order of difficulty in miracles. So,
And there's no hierarchy of illusions.
and so world war is the same level of illusion that is a cold. You know, where you got the sniffles.
Yep.
According to A Course in Miracles, no order of difficulty in miracles, no hierarchy of illusions. So a war or a button is the same to truth. What truth? That we are sinless and guiltless as God created us. Every single one of us, no matter what. So thank you for bringing up that contrast that made me laugh. And thank you both for remembering that the truth. And our awareness of our sinlessness makes every error disappear. Every illusion disappear. Our awareness of it. And so, hey, not bad for a Monday night, eh?
I think I saw again.
What you do after? Oh, we averted World War III, you know.
I think I saw
Yeah, we
the
got it.
Antichrist driving down Colorado Boulevard.
You
A
thought-
black Lamborghini. His license plate said anti on it. So.
Jerry says he thinks he saw the Antichrist driving down Colorado Boulevard in a black Lamborghini, and then on his license plate it said anti. Yes. Yes, exactly. I was thinking about for Halloween going as Antichrist.
And he was breaking the law, texting and driving.
Exactly.
Who do they think is the Antichrist? Like, who do the Christians?
Well,
what does Bible say about
I will send you that video because
I'll just look it up, I'll write it down.
he described it. He says that the Bible is very clear
It's
about
Trump.
it.
No, they think it's Joe Biden.
Well, I mean Bible.
And I'll send you that video because this guy literally just lays it out.
He's all
Very, very graphically.
precise.
Apparently, he's one bad dude. Let me tell you that. So, all right.
So not Putin, not
No, that's not. Yeah.
not Capo.
I don't know. I mean, they could. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
So then it says. So we'll just finish. We'll just do paragraph 5, and then that's the last paragraph. How convenient.
Well, there's 6 in the book.
Oh, you're right. There's 6. So I'm going to take the last 10 minutes and I'm going to read the 2 last paragraphs, and then I may comment and then we'll stop. So here's another instruction. Okay, instruction. Do not let littleness lead you, God's child, into temptation. Because your glory is beyond the temptation of a little sigh of seeming sin and stirring of guilt attraction. Your glory is beyond all that littleness. Your glory is measureless and timeless, as is eternity. So instruction, don't let time intrude upon your sight of yourself, God's child. Don't leave God's children frightened and alone in their temptation of guilt, but instead help others rise above their temptation of guilt and sin, and help others to perceive the light of which they are a part. Your innocence will light the way to their innocence, and so is your innocence protected and kept in your awareness. Because who can know their glory, their innocence, and perceive the little and the weak around them? Who can walk trembling in a fearful world and realize that heaven's glory shines in them? Here's the truth about what's really going on in paragraph 6. There's nothing around you that isn't part of you. Nothing around you but is part of you. That's the truth of what's going on. Nothing around you but is part of you. So, look on everyone and everything around you lovingly. Okay, how do you do that? See the light of innocence in everyone and everything around you. That's what's really going on. And when you look lovingly and see the light of innocence in everyone and everything around you, you will come to understand all that is given you. And then in kind forgiveness will the world sparkle and shine, and everything you once thought sinful now will be reinterpreted as part of heaven. How beautiful it is to walk clean and redeemed and happy through a world in bitter need of the saving, of the healing that your innocence bestows on the world. And what can you value more than that? Because when you bestow innocence on the world in bitter need of innocence, then that is your freedom, your salvation. And your freedom must be complete if you would recognize your freedom. That's what's really going on. That everything around you is part of you. And if you look lovingly and see the innocence and sinlessness in everyone and everything around you, then the world will then shine in kind forgiveness. And you will be experiencing a beautiful world that you are walking through. And your awareness of your innocence will heal the world in bitter need of the innocence that your correct perception brings. And what could be more valuable than doing that? Tell me.
Nothing.
Tell me. Exactly. Going bowling on Tuesday? Getting all the money and power, fame, and specialness that the world can offer? What could be more valuable than walking the world like that and saving the world from the war upon itself? This war is at war with itself. This world is waging war on itself. Could there be anything more valuable than walking the world and bringing peace? Bringing innocence to the world that believes that it's guilty and waging war on itself because of it. What could be more valuable than that? Wow. That is the question. The question is not to be or not to be. The question is, what could be more valuable than that? Than being and doing this for the world in such bitter need of saving from war against itself. All right. Well, there you go. Wow. We actually finished an entire section. What a miracle. Beautiful. All right. So I'm just going to do announcements, and then we'll just do a couple minutes of integration meditation. So I wanted to tell you guys who are here in person that I'm going to do one more Monday next Monday, and then I'm not going to do Monday nights for a while. Winter's coming, and most people are watching online, and so it's a very long drive down from Conifer, especially in the wintertime at night. So I'm going to stop doing the Monday night classes in person. I'll still be doing them online on Facebook, so you can still watch there. And I will be teaching on Sundays and interchangeably with Matt and Barb, and at the 11 a.m. Sunday service here at the Miracle Center. So I'll still be doing an in-person class on Sundays. If you want an in-person class, just come on down to the Sunday class at 11 a.m. in the Miracle Center. So there's that. Also, I want to remind you that I am a holistic psychotherapist, and I have a psychotherapy practice called Miracle Psychotherapeutics, where it's a niche in my psychotherapy practice where if you're a Course in Miracles student and you would like some counseling, but you would like it from a Course in Miracles perspective, then I'm a licensed professional counselor, and I'm available for that. And the details of how to reach me are in the details of this class. So I just want to remind you that I'm available for that if you could use some of that. All right? Like if you're going through something and you would like to apply these miracle principles so that you can experience a miracle in that situation, then I could be of support to you in that. All right. So now we're going to, and then Greg and I do 2 Course in Miracles classes, Transforming Relationships Through A Course in Miracles, every Sunday evening and every Tuesday evening on my Facebook page. So it's a great class if you are wanting some support in how to apply these miracle principles to any relationship challenges that you are going through. Okay? All right. So any other questions or comments before we close up? All righty. Great. Then let us close our eyes and just do about 3 minutes of application. So just close your eyes and breathe and feel. Just notice how you feel having heard these ideas. You to bring to your awareness a situation where you are currently or have been feeling frail or weak. Where is it that you have been feeling frail and weak in your life? Take a breath. And I want you now to tell yourself, this is the area of my life right now where I am feeling guilty, where I am believing in sin and guilt. Maybe I'm feeling the guilt or shame within myself, or maybe I'm projecting the belief in sin and guilt onto somebody else. But tell yourself, my frailty and my sense of weakness is coming from my own belief in sin and guilt. Now, keeping this situation in mind, I want you to tell yourself, I am afraid of this situation or the people in this situation because I have attacked it, projected guilt onto it, believing that that made me stronger. Take a breath. Tell yourself, I believe this situation or person can hurt me because I have been using this situation for sin and guilt. And now tell yourself, but I will love this person or this situation when I see it or them as sinless. Now tell yourself, in this situation or relationship, I could be walking in radiance and fearing no evil or no enemy. And the way that I could be doing that is by sharing my innocence, my sinlessness, instead of sharing or projecting my belief in guilt and sin. I want to feel safe in this situation or relationship, and so instead of projecting my belief in sin and guilt, I am going to share my innocence. I'm going to perceive sinlessness in this person, in this situation, and then go ahead and do that. I want you to say to yourself, I will release this situation or relationship from the illusion of harm by choosing to accept my sinlessness that I was created in. I choose to accept my sinlessness and their sinlessness, that I might release this situation or relationship from the illusion of harm. Now I want you to imagine what a happy world, a world of freedom that you will walk with your awareness of your sinlessness beside you. Imagine how wonderful it will feel to be walking in a world where you feel safe and you feel happy, where you're not afraid and you don't see any enemies anywhere. Nothing to fear. Imagine walking through such a world of freedom and beauty and happiness and safety. Because you feel you have accepted your sinlessness. think about it. Ask yourself this question: am I willing to give up this happy and free and safe world for a little sigh of seeming sin or a tiny stirring of guilt's attraction? Tell yourself, my destiny is far beyond these little nuisances or little interferers, these tiny stirring of guilt's attraction. My destiny lies far beyond these little nuisances and interferers. Now I want you to choose someone whom you had seen as your enemy or as an enemy. Pull that person into your awareness right now. And I want you to don't leave this person frightened and alone in their temptation to feel guilty. Help this person to rise above their temptation to feel guilty, and help this person to see the light of their innocence. Remind them of their sinlessness, their innocence. Because this is how your awareness of your sinlessness is protected and kept in your awareness. Now I want you to look upon this person or this situation, and I want you to tell yourself, everything and everyone in this situation and relationship is a part of me. And now I want you to look on this person in this situation, and I want you to look on it lovingly and see the light of sinlessness in them and in it. Now I want you to look out on the world in your mind's eye and look at how the world is sparkling and shining in kind forgiveness. I want you now to look at the world around you in your mind's eye and see how beautiful it is to walk through this world, shining, bestowing sinlessness on this world in bitter need of the healing that your innocence bestows on it. See how sparkly and shining the world is, shining in your kind forgiveness. The real world. Imagine it. See it. this is how we help the world that is in such bitter need of the idea of sinlessness. Beautiful. All right. Good job. Way to save the world. You can feel really good about yourselves tonight. You can feel really good about yourselves tonight. Saviors of the world. You are the light of the world. This is how you fulfill your function as light of the world. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for coming out, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Thank you guys for watching on Facebook or YouTube. And if you would like to support this ministry, then if you're watching on YouTube, then like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching on Facebook, then share it out on your Facebook channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it all. May the truth be with you.